Hey everybody, this is Lil Mac Main here, creating a tutorial video for something I thought was kind of cool. If you remember from Minecraft Java Edition how you were freely able to make resource packs with textures and sounds, you can actually do that in Minecraft Bedrock Edition and a lot easier than you were able to in Minecraft Java Edition. So in this video I'm going to be explaining how to do that, but first here's a little demo reel of some of the things I was able to accomplish. As you saw there, I was able to replace a music track with something completely different. As you can see here, there's a skeleton with a nice little texture update. He looks a little familiar. And something else interesting that you can do is actually replace the sounds that play, or the set of sounds that play when something happens. So as you can hear there, one of the skeleton death sounds was changed to the earthbound crit sound. And you can actually create a new sound to play from your commands for custom maps and things like that. And one of the other cool features that you're able to do is coming up here. When this saves, you can actually create custom splash messages on your main screen. And so I would like to show you how to do all of that here. So in order to make your own resource pack to add your own custom sounds and textures in the game, you're going to need a few things first. The first thing you're going to need is a base resource pack. If you go onto Minecraft.net using the link in the description, you can download the vanilla resource pack that lists all the textures and the sounds that you will need. This is important because you will need to cross-reference where the files are in that texture pack in order to figure out where to place them in your texture pack. The other things you're going to need are an audio editor that can output .ogg files. I'm using Audacity for this one. And the reason that you need something that outputs .ogg is because Minecraft Bedrock Edition only reads .fsb files, which are heavily encrypted, or .ogg files. It's been able to read those since Minecraft Java Edition way back when. You're also going to need some sort of image editing software that supports transparency. In my case, I'm using paint.net, but GIMP will also work. And then finally, you're going to need some sort of a text editor. My preference is Visual Studio Code, but you can use whatever you have available to you at the time. So in order to create your resource pack, you're going to need to create a new folder. You can name it whatever you would like. When you open up that folder, you're going to want to copy over a few things from the vanilla texture pack. You're going to want to copy over pack_icon.png. This is what shows up in the settings menu to tell what your texture pack is. This is the icon that appears for it. I've already sort of edited this right here, just the word test over it, but you can make it whatever you want. There's also manifest.json, which is sort of the brains behind the whole operation here. This contains the description, the name, and the UUID of the texture pack. The UUID has to be unique, however, to all the resource packs that you have, but generally changing the UUID by 1 or 2 characters from the one that was given to you in the vanilla resource pack will be suitable enough. So use your text editor and change those around, making sure to keep the quotation marks whenever you have a word. The other thing that you're going to need to do is add a splashes.json file. This is not in the vanilla resource pack. This is actually a more hidden file that you need to add by yourself. So if you want to add any custom splashes, you need to add this file and add this data structure right here, replacing all of the strings that you see here with your own things and using commas to separate different ones. I put these here so that you know that they're brand new ones because they're things that Minecraft doesn't reference normally. And finally, you are going to need sounds and textures folders. Now in these folders, in the sounds folder specifically, you're going to want to have sound_definitions.json. This will be important in a little bit when I explain how some of the sounds work. If you want to replace a texture, however, you are going to need the textures folder. Simply find what folder the texture you want to replace is in, recreate those folders in your new texture pack, and then drag that new texture to the same location in here. You don't want to copy over anything you haven't changed because that's just going to make your texture pack extra bulky, and it's going to take some extra time for the game to process all the things that you have in there that are just duplicate anyway. So in this case, I wanted to replace the skeleton texture. When I go to the base folder of my new test pack, I know that from the vanilla resource pack, the skeleton texture is located in Textures, Entity, Skeleton, and then the skeleton.png is right here. So I put my brand new texture right here, and when the resource pack loads, the game will look for it right here and update that. Something similar can be done with sounds. The reason that you want to use sound_definitions.json is because in the vanilla resource pack, it lists the file names for all the sounds in the game, including ones that are hidden. This music folder here, you will notice if you go to sounds in the vanilla resource pack, is not normally there. I had to add that myself. I wanted to replace the record 11 because I found it was a bit creepy, and I had another music track that I wanted to replace it with. That is in the description as well. He's a fantastic artist, and you should go check him out. But you have to do the same thing with sounds. Find where the sound is located. And in the case of sounds in sound_definitions.json, the last part is the file name, even though it doesn't have the .ogg after it. So in this case, it was located at sounds, music, game, records, 11, which means that the 11 part is 11.ogg. Just simply export whatever file you want as a .ogg file and drag it into here. Then there's also a way to add brand new sounds. You can just export whatever you want as a .ogg, name it whatever you want. And what I like to do is put it in its own folder here called new. This keeps all of them organized and allows you to easily find all the new sounds you have. So this is a sound that I use in some of my previous montages. It's the Earthbound critical hit smash sound effect. But when you just put it in here, it's not enough. The game isn't going to know that that sound is there. This is where sound definitions comes in. If you open this up, what you're going to have to do, disregarding this section right here, is add the name that you want to refer to your sound as, and then list the sounds that could possibly play whenever you call that name. And in this case, we just want the critical hit sound to fire, so we just have the location of that smash sound effect. Now I have the mob skeleton death sound here to highlight something else. You can actually update sounds. You can update the sounds that play when something happens, and if you have more than one sound, it will randomly select one of those as the game runs. As you heard in the intro beforehand, there was both the critical hit sound and the death sound. These are both here because these are the two sounds that can randomly be selected through either of those. Even though I said before that you only want to add things that you change, this is still here. And this is because of a strange little bug where if you omit this, it will not append. Normal behavior is that it would append new sounds to the list in general, so it would say that this is here and think, oh, okay, this is something else to play along with the skeleton death sound. But it doesn't work that way in Bedrock Edition. You have to have all the sounds that could normally play plus whatever you want to play, and only those will be randomized. This actually works a bit in your favor because if you have a certain sound that you don't like playing when something happens and it can randomly select from a bunch of different sounds, you can just omit that one and change the sounds that play when something happens. So like if a skeleton actually had 3 death sounds and I didn't like the second one, I could just copy it in here, get rid of the second one, and only the first and third ones would play. This is also an easy way to add the same sound to multiple different things. So for instance, let's say I was making an Earthbound pack and I wanted this smash critical hit sound to play whenever anything died. Then I could just simply replace all the death sounds with this file location and only have to do it once and only add one file instead of going in and replacing all the sound files with something different. So far we've managed to update the description and the name, update the icon, update our splashes, update a texture, add a new sound, and update the sounds that can play for skeletons. So this seems like a pretty easy, pretty good place to stop right here. And I'd like to think that I explained this pretty easily. But the question is, with Java Edition, we had to go into the files and add the resource pack in behind the scenes in the app data folder. What do we have to do to add this new resource pack to our game? It's actually very simple. All you need to do is right-click the new test pack, send it to a compressed zip folder, rename the folder so that the file extension is mcpack, select yes for this file extension warning, and what do you know? The Minecraft dirt texture appears instead of the zip file. Whenever you click on this, Minecraft will boot automatically and load your texture pack in there. And from there, you just have to go to settings and add it as you would any normal resource pack. So that's about it. I hope this was easy and straightforward to follow. Basically, if you just want to replace something, just find where it is in the vanilla resource pack, recreate the file structure, and just drag it on in there. Sounds have to be in .ogg. Files, textures should be likely in PNG, but you need to have a way to edit it so that it retains its transparency. Splashes go in its own file. You need to make sure you edit the manifest.json UUID for it to work correctly. And then just rename the .zip to .mc.pack, and you are all set to go. Just click on this, it will load it up, and then just add it, and all of your custom sounds and textures will be there. This was obviously not possible without a little bit of research. I just wanted to compile it all into one place, so I will put the miscellaneous sources that I used to make this tutorial down in the description, along with the dark mode texture pack that I was using in the example at the beginning of the video, and the sound that I played as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.